of absolute control. And that's why we're just out here doing simple things, pointing out that we're meant to be in nature and be natural, and this is where we find the source that God made to transcend the New World Order. And that's why they want to try to keep us out of it.
I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murder scum. They're on giant death factories keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green looking skin and they run around screaming, we love Satan, we want to eat babies. I have them on video. Hillary's in the creepy, weird, sick stuff, man. She sleeps in the same room with that creepy, weird woman whose mother wears a hood over her head. What the hell? That woman number one is ugly. Imagine how bad she smells, man. I'm told her and Obama just stink. Obama and Hillary both smell like sulfur. Literal vampire pot and the goblins are hobbling round coming after us. My spirit gets close to that evil and I feel it go. We're such self-centered crap. We don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Millions of pointed people of the very worst type, and I'm so pissed. We're gonna stab your daughter at the mall. We're gonna stab your wife, your son. We're gonna stab you with a butcher knife, and then the police chief is gonna say, we love our Somalis, we love our Muslims. Oh, they're so good, oh, they're so sweet.
I was watching Fox News as I worked out this.
Gonna stab your daughter at the mall. Gonna stab your wife, your son. Good morning, my beauties and bees. It is Saturday morning, and we are live from the Hive. So hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Who did I got out here? I think I saw Godless Granny in my side chat. Hello, Kelly. It's so good to see you. Always good to see you have a moment to come hang out in the Hive on a Saturday. Thank you for warning me about my hot mic there, Aunt Jer. I had a delay, so I wasn't aware of it till after I coughed. Thank you much. Good morning, everybody. Vandalia's here. John Hudson's here. We got Greg Hartwick. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up this morning. I know it's the weird week and people have holiday shit going on right now. So, I mean, that's a thing that's happening. But I'm so thrilled that you guys decided to spend your Saturday morning with me today. I hope you got everything you wanted for Christmas. I got all kinds of cute stuff for Christmas. Look at this. Oh, I love it. So cute. And also, if you didn't see my stream where Dr. Tapioca Weasel came into the came and hang out with me live, I got my Mothman antenna to go with my glasses. If you remember, I was complaining that the ones I got were like curly bumblebee ones instead of the moth ones that I had asked for, so I ordered some different ones. Anyway, that's a thing that happened, so thrilled about that. Dr. Tapioca Weasel came and hung out with me, and we finally got to do the Jesus Ouija board, which was sitting here waiting for months and months and months for someone to come play it with me. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah, I got up early to do my makeup this morning. Some days I do. This is a moth called a rosy maple. A rosy maple moth. They do actually come in this color, and they are quite floofy and adorable. And they're indigenous to North America. So they're cute and adorable, plus they live in my own backyard. So I cannot lose by going with the rosy maple moth. They are so adorable. What else do we got going on? Yeah, this is the last live from the Hive of 2023. And I will be changing some things around on the way that I release my edited content. Some of the stuff that I've been premiering, I think I'm just gonna start releasing normal, just releasing as videos. But I will probably continue to premiere CryptoCorner. I think I'm going to move the time slot for CryptoCorner to Wednesday night though, because Friday night is going to be focused on the debate channel. Friday night is going to be focused on Friday night sci-fights. And speaking of the debate channel in that launch, I believe the first debate I'm going to have set up is going to be Grayson, and if I can make it happen. But yeah, I do want to say, hey Kelly, if you're interested in coming on to a new and budding debate channel and having some debates, come on over. We would love to have you. So that's enough preamble for this morning. Let's go ahead and jump right into CryptoCorner, because we got a fun one this morning, and it's topical and new, and it's a great topic to wrap up the year with. So I will see you guys over there. Hello, my beauties and bees, and thank you so much for joining me for CryptoCorner, where we explore the unexplained, the supernatural, the paranormal and hidden, the mysterious, the alien, the accursed, and the forbidden. I am your host, Miss Bumblebee, and today we are going to be visiting a new channel that we haven't seen before, or we haven't visited before. I figured this was a great way to wrap up the year. This is Live from the Hive. We are watching this on the 30th of December, so this is the last show of the year. If you're watching this on the premiere and you want to join us, you just come on the channel at 9:30 a.m. Saturday morning, any Saturday of the week, and you can join this live chat over here. And we always have a good fun time every Saturday, so you don't want to miss it. You can participate and ask questions, and yeah, we're gonna dive right into the weeds of the woo here. So it's gonna be something you want to participate in. Don't deny yourself this opportunity. All right, so this is gonna be a Eyes on the Skies episode, and that's how we're gonna end this year. We're gonna turn our eyes up towards the heaven and ask ourselves, hey, what was that thing? And then see if the angry astronaut agrees with us. This is the angry astronaut who talks about such things as alien super weapons, signs of life detected by NASA, Musk first on Mars, let's see, asteroid defense plan, spherical UFOs. Yeah, so we're really gonna be getting into the thick of it, if you can't tell by now. All right, so without further ado, this is our boy. This is our angry astronaut, and he's going to tell us about the mysterious objects that's moving through our solar system.
Bulletin. Good afternoon on today's Angry Bulletin. Finally, after numerous media stories to the contrary, it has been definitively proven that Oumuamua was neither an asteroid nor a comet. A recent paper released by an astronomer who is not Avi Loeb has conclusively demonstrated.
Are you all familiar with Oumuamua, the object moving through our solar system? I think first sighted in 2015. Let me see. I had some stuff pulled up on it and I closed it. Oh. There we go. Pull it right back up. I even had the official document, but it was behind a paywall, so I'll pull up the CNN report on it and we'll look at that too.
That the hydrogen outgassing model that so many astronomers have been clinging.
Yeah, I was wrong. It was 2017, not 15. Oumuamua was 2017. Moving through our
To explain Oumuamua's bizarre and unnatural behavior is simply impossible. So what is Oumuamua? All of this and more coming at you on The Angry Astronaut right now. Good afternoon, and once again, welcome to The Angry Astronaut. We are going to be bringing you a triple shot of alien content for the holidays. Yesterday, we had a brief episode, an angry clip, I guess.
So, yeah, he does a lot of UFO and alien coverage, obviously. He is a big channel, though. I'm not going to put him down. He's doing good. 123K. Not bad at all. This video alone has 52K views, and it's only 6 days old. People are really excited about his explanations for heavenly bodies.
To be the best way to describe that one, about a UFO that was spotted in Minnesota that continues to confound researchers. Today,
we kind of know what it looks like, but not really, Native Atheist. It's vaguely long and cigar-shaped, sort of laterally compressed, but like the length, like anywhere from 300 meters to 3,000 meters or something. It's estimated to be 377 by 364 by 62 feet, which is 115 by 111 by 19 meters in size. So not huge. 19 meters is pretty thin.
We're going to be talking about Oumuamua, and then tomorrow, by popular demand, we're going to be talking about alien superweapons that we may or may not have observed in operation throughout the cosmos. And I'm not joking about that, but we're not going to get into that in this.
Alien superweapons, you're kind of making me sad I didn't pick that topic, but I did. Oumuamua was what I came here to. I found this channel looking for people talking about Oumuamua more so than the other way around, because I knew that there was an alien theory about it and I've been meaning to cover it.
This episode, we're going to talk about Oumuamua. So one thing that really annoys the hell out of me about Oumuamua, I mean, I'm called the Angry Astronaut, and I want to be very clear as to one of the things that makes me angrier than anything else is how the media continues to cling to debunked theories about phenomena that may have an artificial extraterrestrial origin, and then a natural explanation comes out, and that natural explanation is subsequently debunked a few months later, but the media continues to cling to that rational,
Well, so there's new stuff that came. This article I have here, well, it's not new. It was from March. There was some new information, though, I thought. Let me see. Oumuamua. So I had a different article up, I guess. Oumuamua. Stellar. I keep saying Oumuamua like that's going to make something change. Oumuamua. Because there was like a new press release just a couple days ago. Where is it? I'm so annoyed because I had it all pulled up, and then I do this like every morning. I close all my stuff like a moron, like a dumbass. What is the Oumuamua, and why is NASA terrified? And but where is the? December 2023, December 6th. Yeah, people talking about it being an alien spaceship. Let's see here. December. Yeah, physicist Brian Cox. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Thank you. It's from Science News. Why did that take so long to find? Weird that it didn't come up first. Anyway, I will show you that we have new stuff on this that we're going to talk about. So we're not just knocking around something that's old, sticking around a bin. This has been updated. Well, this is from March 2, though, so not that new. Then we're going to talk about spiders later on, so stick around if you want to talk about spiders.
Mundane, natural explanation, because after all, that's the responsible thing to do, isn't it? If you keep talking about aliens, you're a bunch of nut jobs, and you definitely don't deserve to be called a legitimate news agency. And Oumuamua is one of the worst examples of this.
Are you defending Tucker Carlson? I feel like that was just like, hey, Tucker's okay, is what he was saying. And no, Tucker's not okay. Gross.
For example, the media continues to picture Oumuamua as looking something like this. Now, even astronomers admit, the most mainstream conservative astronomers admit, that this is not what Oumuamua looks like. This is entirely too thick of an object. It's elongated, that's about right, but it's not reflective enough, it doesn't have a high enough albedo, and it's not nearly flat enough. That's one thing that's very strange about Oumuamua, is its shape. This is actually a better idea.
Yeah, that one is better compared to what I've seen. The this cigar-shaped stellar cat turd thing that he complains about. I'm kind of on board with that. He thinks that's a lot thinner, though. Let's hear how thin he thinks.
Of what Oumuamua might look like if it were an asteroid. But the thing of it is, it's not an asteroid. We know that for certain now, in spite of the fact that at the beginning of this year, another scientific study came out claiming or trying to put forward a theory, a very implausible theory, as to how hydrogen could have caused the observed acceleration of Oumuamua as it left our solar system. And now that particular theory has been completely debunked by another scientific paper that was not written by Dr. Avi Loeb. It's actually written by an astronomer who does not believe that Oumuamua is an artificial object. He has some other ideas as to what he thinks it might be.
Brian Cox is who he's talking about here, who came up with this new depiction of it as more of a almost disc-shaped object, as opposed to the cigar-shaped object.
Although these are equally implausible, and he actually admits that this is a very unusual object, an object that really defies all natural explanation in many ways. It's just so strange. There are so many odd things about this object.
It is strange. It is weird the way that it didn't have outgassings like it was expected to. The way this trajectory changed, things like that are peculiar about it. We're going to learn more as we go along. There's lots of data collected on this phenomena.
And yet the media continues to claim to the mundane, the natural explanations that have been debunked now for months, because that's the responsible thing to do. That's the comfortable thing to do. That's the thing that makes us feel safe, makes us feel secure, is the knowledge that there are no technologically superior alien civilizations lurking out there that might show up on our doorsteps.
There may be. There may be. The probability is low. And for this situation, once there's more concise data, we'll see what it comes out with. Right now, it seems like most of the scientists who are researching this, based on a lot of mathematical formulas that I couldn't even begin to understand are just saying that, you know, this is a rock of some kind. It is mineral flying through space. It's not tech, but if new information comes out, we'll see.
Intending to mean us harm someday. We don't want to believe something as frightening as that, so we choose not to, and the media embraces that school of thought. So what does Oumuamua actually look like? Well, this rendering, created by Nick Henning, a fantastic digital artist. You may have seen a lot of his work online in the past, does some great work, and he created this image for me. But why do I think it looks like this? Of all the configurations of an alien ship, why do I believe that Oumuamua looks like this bizarre object? First of all, a quick review of all the unnatural things about Oumuamua.
Okay, so he thinks it's some kind of space sail. So he thinks it's a solar sail pulling like beacon drops or something.
First of all, where did this object come from? Well, as near as we can tell, based on its trajectory before it encountered the sun, Oumuamua was moving through the galaxy at a speed that corresponded to what is called the galactic standard of rest, meaning that it was stationary in relation to the stars moving around it. It was rotating at precisely the same speed as the rate of rotation that the galaxy has in general. That makes it extremely useful for a navigational buoy for starships traveling between the stars who need a fixed point in space to lock onto. Now, this could have happened by chance, but the odds of it happening by chance are 0.2% or 500 to 1. That's
So I like how you're pointing out the low odds of this happening. Now, what are the odds of it happening by design? Because I think those would be even lower, right? Just by the very nature. Because the alien life form would have to form by chance and put the buoy there by chance. So all the probabilities that you've mentioned before apply here too. Plus you have to build an alien civilization that gets advanced enough to build this space buoy. That's what people who make high probability arguments don't understand. That anything they attach onto a high probability of natural phenomena, they have to still include the natural phenomena and then add additional steps along the way where you have intelligence evolving and then taking actions. Even a God argument to say that the same principles tethered in time, and say the probability is so low. It's like, well, what's the probability what's the probability of your intervention that you're evoking coming into existence? The teapot around what is it? The teapot around Saturn or whatever is not probable, right? But it's not impossible. So probability arguments are weird that way.
That's the first strange thing about this object. Number two, it was rotating at a very consistent and unchanging speed. This also is not unusual for an asteroid, a comet, or some other object in space. However, as you will see later on, the fact that Oumuamua continued to rotate even when it was accelerating out of the solar system is an extremely unnatural thing for it to do. Also, Oumuamua was highly reflective, an extremely high albedo, unnaturally so for an asteroid or a comet. Now, of course, comets are pretty reflective because they're comprised primarily of ice, but Oumuamua was substantially more reflective than even the average comet, looking more metallic than ice.
Yeah, so they think maybe it's like high in metals. Is what the the leading theory on that.
Nevertheless, there are objects in the solar system that are about as reflective as Oumuamua, so that's not necessarily that unusual. Also, its length compared to its width and its thickness is highly unusual. At best, Oumuamua is a flat pancake-like object. Once again, if comprised of hydrogen and ice and perhaps...
Yeah, I mean, that does sound, I mean, that's fair. Pancake shaped is a fair description. 19 meters thick by 115 and 111. So it's almost circular. It's not cigar shaped like the earlier depictions was. It's almost circular. So it would have, and it's about 19 meters thick. It'd probably have proportions about like this, right? About like that. A little more egg shaped, maybe. So yeah, so you got your, now we got your Oumuamua flowing through the space, flipping and turning as a disk would do in a 0G environment without any kinds of friction, right? To keep it in, to make aerodynamics matter, there needs to be friction, right? He's gonna argue that things are compressed into spheres in space, but not things this small. We can go out to the asteroid belt and look. Asteroids are all kinds of crazy shapes, including compressed and elongated and everything else. Asteroids come in all kinds of wild shapes when you're this small, because we're not talking like a moon-sized object. 115 meters is not huge, right? I mean, as far as a heavenly body goes.
Nitrogen, that sort of thing, as many astronomers have theorized that it's comprised out of in order to back up their explanations as to how Oumuamua accelerated out of the solar system without any visible means of doing so. Well, how the hell did something this thin and with this low of a boiling point survive a close encounter with the sun? Oh yeah, and that's something else we need to cover. The fact that
sometimes an asteroid is just a cigar, says Aunt Jer. Clever.
Oumuamua passed through the solar system on the trajectory that it did. Keep in mind, Oumuamua could have passed through the solar system at any point theoretically. All of this was purely by chance, and yet it passed so close to the sun, within the orbit of Mercury. Again, a very unusual thing for it to do, and on its way out, it was less than 2/10 of an astronomical unit away from Earth. Closer to Earth than any planet in the solar system gets, even at its closest approach.
Yeah, but it got a lot closer to Venus than it did to Earth.
And here's the strangest detail of all, as I have alluded to throughout this video. On its way out of the solar system, Oumuamua began to accelerate non-gravitationally with no visible means of propulsion. Now, comets commonly change their trajectories and velocity.
Oh, it couldn't possibly have gained some velocity and trajectory from being locked into our sun's gravitational force that's able to hold massive objects like Jupiter in a locked rotation. No, but the sun could not possibly be responsible for this change in plans for Oumuamua.
Because of cometary outgassing, as ice is converted into a gas by the sun's heat and outgasses, as we have seen with a comet that's recently been passing through our solar system this year. However, Oumuamua,
because Oumuamua is not a comet, it doesn't have as much ice. It doesn't have or any ice, as far as I know, like a comet would be expected to have. So there wouldn't be nearly as much outgassing. Not to say it shouldn't have outgassing. I don't know why it doesn't have outgassing like it's supposed to.
Demonstrated no visible outgassing whatsoever. We had some of the most advanced telescopes on the planet trained on it the entire time, and we saw no evidence whatsoever of any cometary outgassing. Not only that, remember I talked about the rotation before? Well, any cometary outgassing, especially that caused this big of a change in velocity should have changed the rotational speed of the object. It should have modified it to some degree, and yet it didn't. Oumuamua continued to rotate at the same speed, the same rate, unchanged in spite of its strange acceleration. All of these things are completely unnatural, and yet at the beginning of this...
Why are they unnatural? I'm reading right here how, yes, the reason for the acceleration was gravity and gas propulsion from outgassing. Right here, I'm reading from actual the James Webb and let's see, the Vera C. Rubin Observatory. These are what they're reporting seeing. So, Angry Astronaut, you got a lot of people saying different.
This year, a paper was released by a pair of astronomers who argued that a cometary object, when subjected to galactic cosmic rays for 100 million years, would produce enough molecular hydrogen freed from water ice, that is to say, hydrogen on its own over the course of 100 million years of galactic cosmic ray bombardment, whereby when the object actually passed through the solar system and in close proximity to the sun, that molecular hydrogen was released and produced the observed acceleration. We couldn't see the hydrogen being released because our instruments were not designed to pick up hydrogen on its own. There were many problems with this theory. First of all, they didn't explain why the rotation didn't change in spite of this massive outrush of hydrogen. We're talking a lot of hydrogen in order to be...
Where does it say the rotation didn't change? Can you clarify that, your source for that? Because I don't see that anywhere that says the rotation didn't change. I don't see anything that says it did change either, but...
able to produce the observed acceleration. On top of that, any sort of outgassing of that magnitude should have also carried a fair amount of the object with it. In other words, there should have been debris traveling out of Oumuamua in addition to the hydrogen. No such...
Oumuamua is so much tinier than a comet, though.
Debris was observed. They didn't explain that either. Dr. Avi Loeb brought up these problems in a paper of his own. However, the media completely ignored Dr. Loeb and proclaimed this new theory as the valid explanation as to what Oumuamua actually was, because after all, Dr. Loeb is a nut job who believes in aliens. However, on November 29th of this year, another paper was released by Niels Ligertink, who's a physical chemist who studies the behavior of various elements in space. He crunched a lot of numbers, the same types of numbers that the original astronomers did, and discovered that even after 100 million years, cosmic ray bombardment of Oumuamua would not have produced enough molecular hydrogen to produce the observed acceleration. Indeed, even after 500 million years, the numbers simply don't add up. For one thing, the object loses molecular hydrogen even in interstellar space, almost as fast as it is produced. On top of that, cosmic rays don't pierce that deep into an object, right? Especially an object made out of ice. Therefore, only...
I don't think Oumuamua was supposed to be made out of ice, though. Was my audio, was I coming in the wrong mic, maybe? I'm coming in the right one now, yeah.
The upper layers would have been converted into molecular hydrogen, and that simply would not have produced...
Eddie, I did get your email. Yeah, so I did hear that. Thank you for reaching out.
Enough molecular hydrogen in an object the size of Oumuamua. He crunched the numbers over and over again.
Look how close it came to Mercury.
And discovered that even after billions of years, most probably, enough molecular hydrogen would not have been created by this process to produce the observed acceleration. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that he thinks that Oumuamua is an alien object. Rather, he thinks that it's an object that's comprised out of a highly complex collection of chemicals, perhaps a fragment of a piece of a planet of some kind. A planet similar to Pluto with a lot of nitrogen in it, and perhaps it was nitrogen outgassing that created the acceleration. Although the notion of a nitrogen iceberg was debunked years ago, so it would have to be something comprised of a unique collection of chemicals.
Which is from outside our solar system. It could have a lot of unique qualities that we don't see within our solar system.
Very strange, though, that an outgassing of this collection of chemicals would only produce acceleration with invisible gases and not with some sort of gas that we could detect. Very interesting and fortunate coincidence indeed that something
also,
like...
if it was an alien spaceship, it would still need to propel itself, so it would still need to have some kind of propulsion, probably gas propulsion, unless you got another theory about it. Of course, you're going to say it's the solar sail or whatever, but how does you explain this, the acceleration? How does the sail accelerate it through our solar system?
That would happen, and also not impact the rotation of the object in the process. The fact of the matter is, all natural explanations for Oumuamua continue to fall flat, and yet the media continues to not acknowledge this fact. So what was Oumuamua? What you're looking at right now is what the Earth looked like from Oumuamua's perspective as it was making its way through the solar system. And as you can see, it ended up passing a pretty damn close to our planet. Not insanely close, of course, we're talking still over 10 million miles away, but definitely close enough to get a good look at us, and perhaps close enough to dispatch a probe of some
look at us with its rock eyes, with its eyes made out of rocks.
Kind. So let's have a look at our depiction of Oumuamua. Oumuamua looks more like a concave seashell than a pancake. It is a light sail, a few millimeters thick, and Avi Loeb, along with one of his associates, crunched some numbers to determine how thin would Oumuamua have to be in order for solar radiation alone to push an object as big as Oumuamua out of the solar system at the observed speed. And it turned out to be a few millimeters thick, which exactly corresponds to the thickness of a light sail. However, Oumuamua does not have the albedo of a modern-day light sail, indicating that it has sustained damage over time, which again makes sense.
Or it's not a light sail because it wouldn't work as one, and it definitely wouldn't work as one to accelerate. That's not how sails work.
Especially if it's been in interstellar space for thousands or millions of years. In addition to that, Oumuamua traveled strangely close to our planet, traveling conveniently right through the Goldilocks zone of our star, and at the same time, an object also from an interstellar destination, approximately 1 meter in diameter, pierced our atmosphere in 2017 from a trajectory similar to what Oumuamua's trajectory was and hit the ocean off the coast of Portugal. Did Oumuamua target a promising looking planet in the Goldilocks zone of our...
Maybe the Goldilocks zones for them was Mercury, because they looked awful close at Mercury and said, hey, that place might look nice.
Our star and dispatch one or perhaps a number of spherical probes to check us out? Might we be seeing some of those spherical probes in our atmosphere today?
It could be an asteroid. I don't think it's an asteroid. Asteroids are generally, I mean, when you say asteroid, it comes from the asteroid belt, which is between Mars and Jupiter. I don't think that this is one of those. Based on its trajectory, it came from outside our solar system, but it doesn't mean it's not some other form of I call heavenly bodies moving through the universe. It doesn't have to be alien. It doesn't have to be intelligently designed. It doesn't have to be a sail. It can be a natural object with behaviors that we just don't fully understand.
Today, of course, all of this is speculation, but this is a theory I'd like to put forward. A Muamua is a buoy of some kind, a marker buoy, a navigational aid of some kind, and it rotates.
Right, I know. He's like, this. That's what I was saying, Titan. Like, look at the title of this video. Even though the media won't report on this, you cannot find hardly any mainstream media coverage on this that doesn't give an extraterrestrial bend to the reporting. The mainstream media is what you're reporting, Angry Astronaut. You have to actually dig into astronomy journalism to in order to understand what's really going on, right? Yeah, you have to like actually delve into some like astrophysics and look at there's mathematical formulas and stuff that goes way over my head, but you know, I know that the mainstream media is just reporting in your corner because they're ignorant about what it is, and so they just want to report sensation
at a specific speed so that anybody observing it can identify it easily. Granted, you would need incredibly advanced optical equipment to be able to see an object like a Muamua blinking against the stellar background. However, we're talking about an alien species many thousands.
And here's my prediction that over the next few decades, we're going to find out that more of these type of small objects that move regularly through our solar system, that because we're so small that we were previously unable to observe them, and this is not a novel phenomena. That's my prediction, right? Because it doesn't generally, again, this guy likes to talk about low probability, that the only time that the small object like this would pass through our field of view was within the decades that we gained the technology to observe it. No, that's low probability as it comes, right? I mean, you like low probability, Angry Astronaut.
Of years or perhaps millions of years more advanced than us, so I wouldn't put it past their capabilities to be able to see a Muamua and use it as a navigational beacon. By chance, it happened to encounter our star, and when it did so, it was pulled in by the sun's gravitational influence. It maneuvered itself to pass ideally through the Goldilocks zone of our star to make a close approach to any planet that might look promising, because this is its secondary objective, to dispatch a probe or perhaps a series of probes to any planet that might look promising in the Goldilocks zone of any star it might encounter. And then on its way out of the solar system, it adjusted its light sail slightly to catch some solar radiation to give it a little bit of a bump on the way out, perhaps simply as a course correctional maneuver in order to eventually bring the...
You're saying it's millions of years old, so this million-year-old technology was able to course correct as it passed through our solar system and you said that, oh, it's a light sail, it's just damaged is why it's not very good at it. But it's still drawn enough juice to get it turned around and accelerate out of our solar system.
The object back on station so that a Muamua might reposition itself at the galactic standard of rest as it was programmed to do. Of course, this vehicle would be struggling at this point, having traveled between stars for many thousands or perhaps millions of years. Its light sail isn't in the greatest of shape, but nevertheless, it's still functional, at least at a basic level of functionality to carry out its primary tasks.
It functions as a rock.
And it's heading on its way out of the solar system after a brief chance encounter with a planet that might or might not have an advanced civilization on it, and now it's on its way.
He's basically just paraphrasing the plot of Arthur C. Clarke's Rama series anyway. Yeah, and then Eddie says, The name sounds like it should be from a Godzilla monster. Yeah, Muamua, the Hawaiian terror. If it's an alien light sail craft meant to visit multiple systems, it might give up albedo for durability. You're already thinking long term there. Jur says, look, you can see the fishing wires they were using to hang it from the studio ceiling. Yep. Debunked. Aunt Jur spotted the wires.
Out of the solar system to continue its long, interminable journey. Oumuamua is more of a galactic wanderer than an extraterrestrial explorer, at least as far as I think. And again, this is just a theory, but nobody else really gets an
You're using the word theory kind of loosey-goosey there.
opportunity to come up with these theories. No serious scientist would dare postulate some sort of theory of their own as to what
Because a theory is not a postulation. You keep using the word theory when you mean hypotheses.
Oumuamua might be, at least not an artificial explanation, for fear of destroying their credibility, and that's the sort of thing that makes me the angriest of all. By the way, this particular illustration is now on t-shirts and sweatshirts, posters, all sorts of cool stuff in my Angry store, and if you order your merch before the end of
Do you want an angry Oumuamua sweater?
the year utilizing this promo code ANGRY23, you will get a 10% discount on your Oumuamua merch. So display your belief in an artificial explanation for Oumuamua. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until the media
I really don't think anybody's going to know what it would mean if I walked around wearing that shirt. They'd be like, what's that? You'd think it was like an album cover or something, I'm sure.
stops depicting Oumuamua as a giant interstellar cat turd, I urge all of you to stay angry about space.
Why be angry about space? I like space. I'm happy about space and stuff we learn, not angry. What a silly thing to expect. And people love him. People are like, oh yeah, thanks for reporting on what the mainstream media doesn't report, even though keep the good work, love your reporting, you deserve more subscribers. Like, this is what the mainstream media says too. That's why he's able to throw his stuff together so easily, because reporting the most outlandish of explanations for natural phenomena is what the media does first, right? Generally. Depends on your source, but yeah, you can usually find people reporting things that are crazy about it first. That's why you have to come in to do like science news and stuff like that to get some actual facts. Oumuamua may be a chip knocked off an icy Pluto-like exoplanet. Our first interstellar visitor may have been a shard of nitrogen ice from another solar system. Neat. Since its discovery, the interstellar object known as Oumuamua has defied explanation. First spotted in 2017, has been called an asteroid, a comet, and an alien spaceship. But and even has a link to where they reported on that. Even Science News reported it as an alien spaceship. So stop with the mainstream media won't tell you this. Yes, they will. They won't shut up about it. But the researchers think they have finally have the mystery object pegged. It could be a shard of nitrogen ice broken off of a Pluto-like planet orbiting another star. The idea is pretty compelling, says Garrett Levine, an astronomer at Yale University, not involved in the work. It does a really good job of matching the observation. Oumuamua's origins have been a mystery because it looks like the sort of thing like a comet, but not quite. After whipping by the sun, Oumuamua zoomed away slightly faster than gravity alone would allow. This happens when ice on the sunlit side of a comet vaporizes, giving them a little rocket-like boost in speed. But unlike comets, Oumuamua did not appear to have a tail from typical cometary ices, such as carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide streaming off of it. Alan Jackson, not the Summertime Blues Alan Jackson. Alan Jackson and Stephen Dench, planetary scientists at Arizona State University at Tempe, set out to discover what other kinds of evaporating ice could give Oumuamua a big enough nudge to explain its movement. The pair reported their results on March 17th at the Virtual Lunar and Planetary Science Conference, and the two studies published online on March 16th in the Journal of Geophysical Research Planets. The amount of force that a vaporizing ice exerts on a comet depends on factors such as how much the ice heats up when it absorbs energy, the mass of its molecules, and even the ice's crystal structure. But by calculating the rocket-like push on Oumuamua, if it were made of ice such as nitrogen, hydrogen, and water, we learned that nitrogen ice would work perfectly well, Dench says. Because the nitrogen ice covers outer solar system bodies such as Pluto and Neptune's moon, Triton, but not small objects like comets, Oumuamua is probably a chip off of a Pluto-like exoplanet, the researchers reported. To determine how realistic the scenario is, Jackson Dash calculated how many chunks of nitrogen ice would have been knocked off a Pluto-like body in the early solar system. Back then, the Kuiper belt of objects beyond Neptune was much more crowded than it is today, including thousands of Pluto-like bodied ice with nitrogen. But some 4 billion years ago, Neptune's orbit expanded. That disruption caused many Kuiper belt objects to collide with each other, and most sailed out of the solar system altogether. Under such chaotic conditions, collisions could have broken trillions of nitrogen ice fragments off Pluto-like bodies. Jackson and Dash estimated if other planetary systems throw out as many shards of ice, those objects could make up about 4% of the bodies in interstellar space. That would make seeing an object like Oumuamua mildly unusual but not exceptional, the researchers said. When I first started reading it, I was skeptical, but it does tick a lot of the necessary boxes, says Scott Shepard, an astronomer at the Carnegie Institution of Science in Washington, D.C., not involved in the work. It's definitely plausible that this could be a fragment of an icy dwarf planet, but plausible, he noted, does not necessarily mean correct. Oumuamua is now too far away to confirm this idea with more observations, but the upcoming Vera Rubin Observatory and European Space Agency's Comet Interceptor mission could detect more interstellar objects, says Yun Zhang, a planetary scientist at Côte d'Azur Observatory in Nice, France, not involved in this research. The Vera Rubin Observatory is expected to spot on average one interstellar visitor per year, and the Comet Interceptor spacecraft may actually visit one. Getting a closer look at more of these objects could narrow down with possible explanations for Oumuamua are most reasonable. Yeah. So, cool stuff, but alien technology? I don't think so. I just don't, but Angry Astronaut thinks so. So, if you enjoyed this person and covering their videos, let me know and we can revisit them again in the future. But yeah, that's been our Cryptic Corner for this morning. Kind of a shorter one, but yeah, he didn't have too much other than just speculation and assertion to offer. He didn't have any numbers or anything to counter what we see from the experts. What do you think, though? Do you think Oumuamua was just a space rock? Do you think Oumuamua was an alien spaceship, a solar sail? Well, let me know in the comments down below. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time. All right, live from the Hive chat. Hello, hello. Yeah, don't buy it being a cat turd either. Looks like an anal scab on her mic. Yeah, it's. I think I like the idea of the something from a larger body being knocked loose. That explains the tumble too. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna wrap that up, and we're gonna move right over into some sci-fails. So I will see you kids over there. Mwah. Evolutionary arms race. So that's where you get run into a lot of problems with people misunderstanding evolution, because they're like, oh, this animal hasn't changed for millions of years. That's because it's been adapted, and that's never true, by the way. But that's because it's been accustomed to that ecological niche for all that time, and it doesn't mean it hasn't been challenged for that. It just means it came out on top every time. Sharks are a good example. They're well adapted for their environment. They aren't going anywhere, well, until now. So we started killing them and eating them, but or just killing them for fun. When there's an extinction event, that's when we get what we call, it's a punctuated equilibrium. Otherwise, you experience gradualism. But when the extinction event happens, whether it's disease-driven or natural disaster, whatever, all the life forms die out, it creates basically a niche vacuum where new forms of life get to try their hands at things that their ancestors weren't able to do before because of the competition. Animals move into these more specialized niches, though. Makes them more susceptible to extinction events, or obviously we're in the middle of the Anthropocene right now, where we're the extinction event, and the specialized animals are the first ones going, especially the large ones. That's one of the most specialized niches you can be in, is a large browser or a large grazer, especially large browsers, though, because they tend to be more of a K strategist in their reproductive methodology. Speaking of, would you guys like me to talk about R strategy and K strategy? I might be able to get some friends together and maybe do a little talk about that.
Apostate Ashley here, former pastor, now atheist. I am the communications director for a 501c3 nonprofit called the Clergy Project. In a moment, I will share what the Clergy Project is and what we offer, and in return, I would love your help sharing this video. The Clergy Project is exclusive for clergy and ex-clergy who no longer believe in anything of the supernatural. You can apply to be in the Clergy Project on our website, www.clergyproject.org. One of our screeners will do a video call with you or a phone call with you to ask you a few important questions about your time in ministry and why you no longer believe. Once approved, you will have access to our discreet online forum, as well as our hidden Facebook group. A lot of our members are anonymous and like to keep it that way, using a pseudonym because they are not ready to come out in the open yet about being an atheist. Being a member of the Clergy Project, you have to understand the anonymity of a lot of the members. We offer subsidized therapy sessions with the Secular Therapy Project, as well as career training. When you are clergy and your whole life is completely tied to the ministry, it can be very difficult to leave. It isn't like a normal job where you can put your 2 weeks notice in and move on to something else. Your church community, your local community, your finances, your family, your marriage, your children are all usually tied in to your ministry. So for some, it feels impossible to leave when you no longer believe. A lot of us only know the ministry and never got any proper schooling outside of Bible college or seminary in order to be able to work in the real world in a secular environment. As a clergy member, coming out as an atheist can be extremely scary and seem almost impossible. A lot of the times, it can destroy families. It can lead to divorce. It could lead to you losing your job, your finances, almost immediately. It can lead to being publicly shunned. It can lead to losing all of your friends and everyone that you've been around for many years. So any clergy or ex-clergy need to know that this nonprofit exists, that we are here to help, we're here to help you get out, and we're here to help you figure out what your next steps are. Personally, being in the Clergy Project has been one of the best things I've ever done for myself.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Sci-Fails, where we look at some of these bad science information being put out across the internet. So, thank you for joining me again today. We'll get another animal video, because, you know what, I love animals. Yeah. And, yeah, we're going to be talking about the rarest spiders in the world is the name of this video. 15 rarest spiders in the world. Good morning, Michael. It's okay if you believe in the supernatural, Eddie. I used to believe in the supernatural too for a long time. Doesn't change your welcome here. Where the Hive is a safe place for people of all kinds of beliefs, but we will challenge them with science. So just keep that in mind. Where the centipede will crawl on your face. Is this one of those videos? Okay. No, all my spiders are beautiful. I have a beautiful black spiders, beautiful brown spiders, beautiful red spiders. I've had blue spiders. Spiders can be so pretty. Yeah, you know Apostate Ashley, right? Native Atheist? She's pretty cool. The video has no audio. Okay. Nope, not that. We're not doing this because this guy's based. I didn't mean to switch videos.
Spider that's on the brink of extinction
There we
to
go.
phobe. But the demise of any species is a reason to grieve. From a yellow spider that's on the brink of extinction to one that has only been found a few times, here are 15 of the rarest spiders in the world. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos every day. That being said, let's begin. Number 15.
Is that some kind of proverbs? Sinister?
Cock spider. If someone were to tell you that spiders could be pretty, you'd probably call them a liar. After all, 8-legged creepy crawlies are rarely cute, right? As it turns out, there is a spider species that you could call cute, and that's the
Jumping spiders, at least most people think they're cute.
rare peacock spider. There are over 70 species of peacock spider, also known as Meridus migromacalatus, in existence, and they are
That's awesome, John Hudson. Enjoy your new tractor.
around a quarter-inch large. Therefore, even if they are all around you, you may not even know it, which was the case with Lawrence and Donna, keen photographers from Australia. The pair discovered peacock spiders on their front lawn and were able to use their macro lens to capture some detailed shots. They have beautiful colors and patterns, including a vivid blue abdomen. Even though their coloring is quite a unique feature, so too is their entertaining.
The cool thing about blue in any animal's coloration is that blue doesn't exist as a pigment. It's always structural color. So, yeah. Have the best New Year's to you too, John. Happy farming.
Mating ritual for the ladies. A male peacock spider's courtship display is one that'll both amuse and surprise, even if the female spider's reaction is a bit less enthusiastic than our own. As the male dances and lays on the moves, the female will turn away from him or toward him based on her interest level. If his moves really don't impress her, she can even eat him or rebuff him violently. If the male peacock spider does have luck, he will flaunt his blue stomach and strut back and forward. Now it's time for the star topic. Albino animals exist in nearly all species and subspecies, but some are more common than others. Most people have heard of Snowflake the albino gorilla and Claude the albino alligator, but what about an albino spider? Does it exist? We were sent this photo of an albino spider with pink eyes and furry, tufted legs. According to the sender, it exists in a wildlife sanctuary, but is rarely shown to the public. Is it an albino spider, or is someone playing the trick on us? Comment down below with the hashtag.
That's a plush. That's a plush stuffed animal. You can buy it. It's an advertisement. Let's see. I've seen it so many times. That exact one. Pink eyes. Yeah, albino. Pink. No, it just pulls up the pink ones. I'm trying to find where we can purchase it at. I think it was on Etsy. Here we go. Yeah. Well, shoot, that's not the Etsy store, though. I want the seller. That's someone's Pinterest. Yeah, okay, well, we'll share that anyway. There's different angles of it where it makes it clear that it's a plush. Like, look at this. People putting it in different locations. It's among the other plushies. Although there are weird animals that are real down here too. That's not real. That's real. That's not real. That's a plush. So, I mean, you see the caliber of content that it's displayed with. Now that's real. Gucci Sapphire. There's our girl Snowflake. Or Snowflake was male, right? That's not real. That's a green tree frog inverted. I debunk these all the time on Facebook groups and stuff and piss people off. Nature groups, people share something like that and be like, oh, it's a real frog species that's from Honduras or whatever. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a Photoshop. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to
star topic and let us know your opinion in relation to what we just showed on screen. With that said, let's keep things moving. Number 14. New species. Skeletoris. The newly discovered Skeletoris belongs to the peacock spider family, but is dramatically different in its appearance. It gets its nickname, Skeletoris, from its black body with white markings, almost making it look like a skeleton. This spider's scientific name is Meridus skeletus, and it's
so cute. I mean, so there's another peacock spider, but yeah, so cute.
Unique and striking little critter. Even those who despise spiders won't be able to help but enjoy looking at it. But while it's unique in its looks, especially when you compare it to the rest of its peacock spider family, it's common in other ways. Its mating dance is very similar to its relatives. Entomologist Jürgen Otto said the Skeletorus would display a body part that looks like a fan, showing off its bold stripes. It'll then raise a single leg and show it off to the female it likes. Once he got closer to her, he then showed her the rest of his moves, which involved moving his legs around rapidly, showing off his muscles, and basically flaunting what his mother gave him. Ask me, this spider's rare not only for its color, but its clearly dominating dance floor moves.
He's got moves for real. Yeah.
Number 13. The Bright Blue Tarantula. The bright blue tarantula.
Now they act like this is a single species, but there are several species of bright blue tarantula. This is the Goody sapphire.
Also known as the Goody sapphire ornamental tree spider, or Poecilotheria.
That is the green bottle blue. I've never been more annoyed by anything in my life than this image right here. I'm gonna screen capture this. This is a trigger for me. Holy shit. Oh my lord. No, 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 no. This is a green bottle blue. Mistake it for a Poecilotheria on your own, at your own risk. Green bottle blue is a docile New World species. Well, I'll say docile relative to spiders. A docile New World species, where Poecilotheria is a dangerous old world tarantula from these Asian group called the tree tigers, that will F you up.
Metallica is a critically endangered spider in the wild due to
so critically endangered that you couldn't use a picture of it. You had to use a green bottle blue.
Habitat loss. However, it remains a popular pet in the domestic.
That is a crustacean. That is a crustacean
market. It's blue and yellow.
Neither one of these are a Goody sapphire. This is a cobalt. The male and female. Cobalt blue. What's the species name on that? I can't remember. I used to have one. Let's see. Cobalt blue tarantula. Yeah, Haplopelma lividium. That's what we're looking at here. You can tell it's not a Goody sapphire because it doesn't have the yellow markings. Also, it's not built like a tree tiger. It's built like a like an earth tiger, actually. So it's kind of funny that they have those common names. But yes, in case there's any doubt that I know what I'm talking about, I mean, look who you're talking to. I'm freaking HiveSci. But this, yeah, cobalt blue. Cobalt blue is what we're looking at there. Look. Cobalt blue. Goody sapphire. Oi. Oh, here we go.
Grows up to 7 inches and is one of the more expensive tarantula species to buy.
That's a Goody sapphire right there. And they're not as expensive as they used to be because the market got kind of oversaturated.
As they say, you pay for pretty. Male spiders of this species will only live for around 4 years, but females tend to live for over a decade with...
You know, they don't tell you that the males that live for the shorter lifespan are the ones that are all pretty too. The females, yeah, they are sort of brown. Now, they have the yellow still. Another thing I want to point out about this is, again, we talked about the blue, and blue is a structural color, so that's pretty cool, huh?
The right care. The Goody sapphire ornamental tree spider was first discovered in southeastern India during the 19th century. It was named after the lumberyard it was found in, Goody, but it's not thought to be native to that town. Over a century later, you can find small numbers of this pretty critter east of Goody in forests and other parts of southern India. Their geometric blue patterns make them desirable to spider lovers, and they're the only tarantula in the...
Why you keep showing other other species if these ones are so great.
Their genus to have such colors. Beautiful patches of yellow break up that vibrant blue on the legs to add to its.
And Regalis has the metallic, so this is Poecilotheria metallica. Poecilotheria regalis also has the yellow markings, though.
Overall attractive appeal. Aside from their colors, this spider also stands out.
Again, it's cobalt blue. This is a Haplopelma. This is not Goody sapphire. This is not a Poecilotheria. Different species.
For its body shape, the males tend to have thin bodies and long legs, while the females are shorter.
That is also not a Goody sapphire. That's a Balfouri, which are super cool too. Let the who was it? Monosyntropus balfouri. Let me show you this one, so you all know I know what I'm talking about. Like, I keep having to prove to you guys I know what I'm talking about, but yes. Balfouri right there. Got it wrong again. This is why this video made the cut, right? This is why we're here. Because this guy keeps mistaking cobalt blue and Balfouri. And we had another one, green bottle blue, too. This is not the topic we're on yet.
In all ways. They are also quite a submissive species, thankfully, and would prefer to escape a threat rather than bite to protect itself. If a Goody sapphire spider...
Don't fuck around and find out about that, because you will fuck around and find out.
Does bite, it's often a dry bite with no venom. Any bite with or without poison can be painful, but there have been no deaths recorded. This rare spider is a pleasure.
You all thought I was going to go on a rant about venom and poison, but actually I'm not. I'm okay with venom being called poison. It's not okay with all poison being called venom, so yeah.
To see in person, but its status as critically endangered means that's a privilege that few people get to have. Number 12.
You got that one completely wrong, but the peacock spiders were cute.
The mirror spider. Have you ever seen a spider that's always ready to party? Well, now you have. The mirror spider, which is an Australian species, is basically an 8-legged disco ball.
Yeah, because this is kind of gross. There's poop involved.
It's pretty on the eye, but confusing for prey. Just the way the spider likes it. The mirror
see the brown in between? That's poop. That's poop.
Spider has what looks like mosaic tiling on its back. These mirrored features appear at all angles, scattering light and confusing anything that may like to eat it. Instead of seeing a delicious spider, a larger spider may instead see reflections of greenery and droplets of water. According to retired biologist Ron Atkinson, the mirrored features of this spider are likely to be crystalline deposits made up of the spider's waste product. The waste produced by the spider's gut cells is underneath the spider's translucent skin. While some of their waste comes out the old-fashioned way, some of it stays behind on the surface of the spider's gut. While it's a gross form of camouflage, it works in the mirror spider's favor. What's unique
so they can pump it and change it.
And rare about this mosaic-style spider, apart from its waste storage, is how it changes color. Its muscles can contract brown skin over its guts, covering the silver crystals fast.
Whenever they say discovered... whenever they say discovered, that's important. When they say discovered, they do mean discovered by white people. Like the Goody sapphire and these Australian spiders here. Yeah, they weren't... Like, the native people that lived there, the people who lived in that area saw them. Oh, native atheist! Woo! Give me a $10 super sticker with a hippo. Oh my gosh, knockout. Oh, I love you, sweetie. Mwah. I really appreciate that. Every penny counts this time of year, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting the Hive. We love ya. We love you, native atheist.
A fast color change is not common in the spider world. Number 11. Long-horned orb weaver. The long-horned orb weaver comes from a large family of orb weaver spiders, with more than 2,800 species within the one group. If you thought you had a lot of cousins and relatives, then spare a thought for this arachnid. The orb weaver is noticeable for its strange spiral wheel-shaped nets, but two species stand out for a whole host of rare reasons. The colors, patterns, and shapes of the—
We actually have these here. You can see these on your, sometimes around like your eaves of your house. So go look for them at night. They're really pretty.
The Microthena and Gastrocantha are out of this world. These two orb weavers are found in tropical areas, but Gastrocantha is native to the US. It also goes by the name of spiny-backed orb weaver and crab spider, among other variations. These spiders might look huge and scary, but their size might surprise you. Some can be over an inch, but most are much.
So Macrocantha is from Southeast Asia, but that's the one with the really long horns that it keeps showing. These smaller, spiky ones, though, you can find them in areas around the globe.
Smaller. Fortunately, their size matches their appetite for human flesh. They will only bite when they feel trapped or threatened. Give them their space and they're unlikely to harm you.
Usually orb weavers won't bite you. You can freaking grab an orb weaver and it won't bite you, but I'm not recommending to go grab an orb weaver, but just saying that usually they won't bite.
Number 10. 8-spotted crab spider. The 8-spotted crab spider was first discovered in a Singaporean forest preserve in 1924, but such is its rarity that it is hardly
He's so cute. Look how cute he is. Do you guys see how cute this spider is? He's yellow. He's a little smiley face. Oh my god.
ever been found since. Bright yellow in color with black spots, this crab spider looks both comical and unique. When it is found, it's normally around Singapore, Sumatra, but it has also been a stowaway in goods to the United States as well. Fortunately for us, even though most people will not see this rare spider in person, you can view photos of it online. There are also plenty of resources to find out more about them.
I like how it's got those spots over its eyes, so it looks kind of like a panda or like a puppy, or a raccoon. You know, something with eye spots. You know, a dog with eye spots, or and it's got the black on its legs, and it looks like it would make candy. Maybe it makes cotton candy.
They are about 1 to 3 inches long and don't cast a web. Instead, they lie in wait for a stray bee or praying mantis to cross their path and become dinner. For all their comical attributes and crazy looks, it's worth sparing a thought for this rare species. A loss of habitat has meant that it's now under threat of extinction. Therefore, it's not only one of the most festive spiders,
Well, congratulations on actually showing the right species for the last couple.
but also one of the rarest. Number 9. Horrid Ground Weaver. Even though the horrid ground weaver serves no purpose to the ecosystem, it's still a rare spider that's deserving of attention. It is one of the rarest in the UK and maybe even the world. The horrid ground weaver, which gets its name from its bristly legs, is a tiny spider celebrity. It was discovered in 1989 and is thought to only exist in 3 or 4 places across the UK. When a family of horrid ground weavers was discovered on the site of potential housing developments, thousands of signatures and dollars were collected to ensure
This is actually a pretty cool conservation story, so thank you for covering this. What was this channel again? The Finest? Thank you for covering this.
was looked after and researched further. That research has discovered that the spider serves no purpose, but that doesn't mean it's an insect we need to drive to extinction.
It doesn't mean it's an insect at all because it's a spider, so it's not an insect, that's an arachnid. It's not even a mandibulata, it's a chelicerae.
After all, you could say the same thing about sports and art, both not contributing all that much, but still valuable to have.
They say it doesn't contribute that much. They hold an ecological role. They're a spider species. They got to be eating something. They got to be producing waste the bacteria grows in. They got to be it goes into the ecology of the soil. Good grief, these people with their idiotic claims that a species doesn't. Yeah, you could probably get rid of it and it would probably be replaced by another species of spider, but that doesn't mean doesn't hold the value in its ecology where it's at. Because Yeah.
Number 8. Sierra Cacachila's wandering spider. One of the identifying factors of a rare spider is that if you haven't discovered it by now, it probably exists in small numbers or remote locations. Both might be factors in the discovery of the Sierra Cacachila's wandering spider in 2013. The spider, with 4-inch legs and an inch-long body, was discovered in the mountain ranges of Baja California Sur, Mexico by North and South American scientists. In this part of the world, any wandering spider is rare, so finding a new species was remarkable. Instead of building webs, wandering spiders chase their prey. Other types of wandering species, such as the Brazilian variety,
Wandering spiders fill a similar niche to wolf spiders, but they're not. They don't have. They have a more, fishing spider-like build to their body, but I don't know if you all know what I mean by that. Wolf spiders are pretty compact. As far as true spiders, they're the ones that have the closest body structure to a tarantula, right? To a megalomorphic spider, which are this different group. There's true spiders and there's megalomorphic spiders. You know the difference because megalomorphic spiders fangs down, true spiders fangs close together, sort of like pseudomandibulata a bit, but they tend to hang down. Now wolf spiders get really big too. Wandering spiders can get pretty big, but they're usually a lot thinner. Fishing spiders are similar, and they also fill a similar niche.
Are aggressive and venomous. When the scientists discovered the existence of the Sierra Cacachila's wandering spider, they did so while the spider wasn't even there. They found an exoskeleton in a rock overhang in a mine shaft and recognized it as that of a wandering spider. They returned at night to find a living relative. It took several years of research to learn more about it, and it's thought that mine shafts and caves are popular hiding spots for these creepy crawlies. Number 7. Ladybird spider. The ladybird spider is a remarkable species of arachnid in the United Kingdom. They are around half an inch big, and as the name suggests, they look quite like a ladybird. If you're gonna be scared of any spider species, it's unlikely to be this beautiful and bold variety. The ladybird spider is on the brink of extinction in the UK and remains one of their most endangered species. Fortunately, many establishments are working hard to.
So these ones are little and velvety, like tiny, but they're like jumping spiders. And velvet spiders and jumping spiders fill kind of a similar niche as well. And people keep them in the similar kind of enclosures, which are, I don't have any right now, my jumping spiders, but they in little enclosures like these. It's all about getting some velvet spiders instead of jumping spiders and something different.
Grow its numbers. It'll generally be on lowland heathland where they build silk-lined burrows vertically with a silky canopy. They use these to ambush insects for dinner. The female ladybird and young males are pure black, which may make you wonder how they get such a glorious name. However, once you see a mature male, you'll know why. When they grow up, they have a vibrant red abdomen and black spots. The spots indicate that they are ready to breed. Their terrain preferences are why they face extinction. Forestry and farmland have had a significant impact on their habitat, so much so that most people thought it was extinct for 70 years. However, some were discovered in 1980 in Dorset, and now there are around 1,000 in total. Number 6.
But we can get them in the pet trade and save them. That's what we need to do. Oh, and I'm not kidding. That does save, like the Goody Sapphire that we talked about earlier. The actual Goody Sapphire, the actual blue and yellow tarantula, is basically its conservation status is they're safe from extinction. People will never stop breeding them. They're so beautiful, right? And they're so easy to all Poecilius are easy to take care of.
6. Deserta's wolf spider. The Deserta's wolf spider is so rare that Bristol Zoo Gardens has now started a unique program to help bolster numbers. There are only around 25,000 left, and all in one small area, Deserta's Islands near Madeira in Portugal. The Deserta's wolf spider grows up to around 5 inches long, and its body makes up around a third of that. They burrow in rocky and sandy areas,
And see, they fill an ecological niche of tarantulas where tarantulas don't exist. And they're true spiders.
invasive plant species have meant that there are not enough areas like that to sustain all Deserta's wolf spiders in existence. Even though the spider is on the International Union for Conservation of Nature's, or IUCN, red list of threatened species, there's no specific legislation to protect it. Therefore, no one was actively doing anything to protect its dwindling numbers. Fortunately, Bristol Zoo stepped in and joined forces with the Madeira National Park and the IUCN. They put together a conservation strategy and moved 25 juveniles to the zoo for breeding. With enough
I don't know why it's showing jumping spiders and this. What? Oh, that's not what I meant. This is not even a spider. That's a harvestman, an opilion.
a conservation strategy and moved 25 juveniles to the zoo for breeding. With enough hatched, they hope to return them in more significant numbers to the island. Number 5. Fen Raft Spider. The fen raft spider, also known as the great raft spider, are giant beige, striped, and speckled spiders that you probably don't want to see crawling around your ceiling at night. They come from the UK
They look like they wouldn't crawl on the ceiling. They would crawl in the water.
and are the largest and rarest of their kind in the whole of Britain. The fen raft spider is around the size of your palm and lives on insects, fish, and tadpoles. They hunt on the surface of water and use silk for creating a nursery web and retreats, but not for hunting. The rarity of this species means that there are only 3 small areas in the UK and Central Europe where they are found. Numbers continue to grow smaller
The UK has not been kind to their giant spiders.
by the day. Fortunately, things are looking up for this giant spider. It is a protected species under the Wildlife and Countryside Act, and it is now a priority under the UK Biodiversity
And it fills the role of a fishing spider. Isn't that cool?
Action Plan. The female spider also does her part for the survival of the species. She will build an egg sac for her babies that live inside for around
The female does her part, huh?
3 weeks. She will also keep it moist by dipping it into water. When it hatches, she has pre-built a nursery web to keep them safe above the water and will stand guard for the first week of their life. When they're old enough, they move out of home and into the big, wide world to fend for themselves. Unfortunately, they're not doing the best job of it, which is why they are one of the rarest spiders in the world. Number 4. Bracken Bat Cave Mesh Weaver. It's never easy trying to expand a city or its services.
Oh, I love this story, though. I think I covered this like years ago on one of the first episodes of Life from the Hive I ever did. I talked about
On
that.
one hand, you want to make sure that life is as easy as possible for its occupants, but on the other, you want to preserve your natural surroundings as best you can. Project developers were put between a rock and a hard place when a rare, previously thought extinct species of spider was discovered in the middle of a highway project in San
This is a species of spider that doesn't have eyes.
Antonio, Texas. The Bracken Bat Cave Meshweaver had previously been on the endangered list, but was thought to be no longer around. Since its discovery during the highway's construction, the entire project had been put on hold. The Bracken Bat Cave Meshweaver is a spider species with no eyes. It gets its name from the type of unique webs it builds. It was discovered after rainfall unearthed a 6-foot spider hole containing a distinct-looking spider. A dissection revealed it was, in fact, the Meshweaver, and biologist John Krechko.
It's so cool. It's so cool that the construction team would stop and say, "Hey, there's a spider here. Maybe it's a rare species. We shouldn't continue."
Likened the find to stumbling on a new Galapagos island when you consider its biological significance. The highway, which consisted of the Texas 151 and Loop 1604, was abundant with natural resources. Biologists found 19 different cave features and 5 non-endangered spider species. They believe the entire entire highway section is a mesh weaver habitat. To ensure they didn't disrupt the area, it was decided that an overpass would be constructed rather than an underpass. The cost would be 3 times that of an underpass at $44 million and would also include genetic studies of the spider. The goal is to preserve animal populations and eventually see them off the
I'm stoked about that. It doesn't have any eyes. Look, isn't that so cool? No, it's like they're completely blind. So wild.
endangered list, not moved to the extinction list due to construction and city expansion. Number 3. Chinese hourglass spider. No matter which species of spider you find or see, you often know it's a spider. It has 8 legs, a standard-looking spider body, and a creepiness about it. But the Chinese hourglass spider is a little bit different, and it's also very old. The spider dates back to between 2 and 5 BCE, but sightings of it have been few and far between. It was seen in Sichuan province in China in 2000, but was only spotted half a dozen times since then. There is also minimal documentation on the unique spider with hourglass shaping, but it was mentioned in the oldest ever Chinese dictionary.
So there's a few different species of spiders that fit into this clade. Cyclosemia. There's a few. There's some from the U.S. Cyclosemia truncata it lives in the U.S. They're not just in China.
One fortunate farmer was lucky enough to come across one recently. He noticed that the spider had a unique abdomen, and he didn't think it was a spider at all. Instead, he wondered whether it might have been a cultural relic. When he realized what it was, he called over his neighbor, then involved the head of the Insect Museum of West China, Zhao Li. Zhao Li said the spider held significant value in scientific research given its rarity. It had never been videoed or documented in
And just in case you're wondering, no, I cannot, unlike the other sections where with the blue tarantulas, I cannot identify the American species from the Chinese species here. I can only assume that most of these are the Chinese species, just on good faith.
Recent years. He also said it was a trapdoor species, which meant they were less likely to be seen due to living below the ground in burrows. The farmer who found the spider, Li Wenhua, said he wanted to sell the
Their ass literally became a door.
spider as a pet for a good price. Number 2. Happy Face Spider. The Hawaiian island chain in the Pacific is home to some beautiful animals that are native to the area, but it's also home to many that aren't.
Speaking of Hawaii, yeah, let me share that too. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up. It's been a minute. So I'll have to scroll down through here. So bear with me just a second, because I wanted to share this too. In case I was talking about this last night and just wanted to make sure that the world is aware that birds that went extinct in 2023 you got one from Florida and South Carolina right here, the Beckman's warbler, and then the one from Guam. The whole rest of this is from Hawaii. Hawaii's just hemorrhaging species. Hawaii's they're just dying off.
As a result, many of the native critters are either forced to move further out or end up in such low numbers they have to go on an endangered list. The happy face spider is one of them. The happy face spider, with the scientific name of Theridiograllidae, is thought to be a harmless spider that has evolved with markings to resemble a smiling face. Some people theorize that it does so to confuse its predators. They may spend a bit of time deciding if the spider is safe to eat, which might offer enough time for it to get away.
It's very aposematic. Yellow, red, and black are aposematic. I mean, that's the colors of a coral snake.
Only around 0.11 inches long and lives high in the Hawaiian rainforests. Some of the spiders appear to have
Which used to be a lot bigger.
frowning faces on their backs, and some might not have any markings at all. There are even spiders of the same species that have vibrant colors like blue or orange instead. The happy face spider is a reasonably solitary creature that prefers to live alone. However, unlike most spiders who don't care for their babies,
Can we save these guys with the pet trade?
this one does. She will guard her eggs, bring them food, and care for them until they leave the nest for good. Fewer than 1% of other spider mothers show the same care.
Maternal care among spiders is rare, but it is something common among wolf spiders, though. It's like the norm among wolf spiders. They all carry their babies on their backs.
They will also hunt at night and eat flies and grasshoppers, among other small insects. Conservation efforts are underway to highlight the plight that this spider, among other native creatures in Hawaii rainforests, are facing when having to share their habitat with non-native animals. Number 1. Hercules baboon spider. If you find yourself face to face with a Hercules
One specimen.
baboon spider, then prepare to see your face plastered all over the local news. This tarantula, which is thought to be one of the heaviest and largest in the world,
Which is not this. That's a Goliath birdie.
hasn't been seen alive since around
That's a yellow knee.
1900. Its leg span is around 8 inches, and it's on par with the huntsman and Goliath bird eater. While many arachnophobes may hope such a giant spider is extinct, no one's willing.
This might be the king baboon spider. It's a baboon. It's a horned baboon. Do you see the horn? They're not really horns. They're more like a nodule, like a knob on top of their head. But I think it's some kind of horned baboon.
To say that it is just yet. There's every reason to believe it's laying low in Africa and around Nigeria. People can only assume and guess what the Hercules
This could be a baboon. Kind of looks like a baboon.
baboon spider likely looks like and eats. It is probably
When I say baboon, baboons like the African tarantulas are mostly baboons, right? Just like in Southeast Asia, you got your earth tigers and your tree tigers. In South America, you got sun tigers too. But then you got your Theraphosa, your giant bird eaters. That's South America, and then we have the docile desert tarantulas of the New World, and the whistling spiders of Australia. So every continent and subcontinent has their own group, own clades of a successful tarantula species, and the ones in Africa are called baboon spiders. The Hercules baboon spider is the largest African baboon spider. The second largest is the king baboon spider, which is also quite large. Now, the Hercules baboon spider, only one specimen's ever been found, so it's considered extinct.
probably brown or black, and history tells us that its venom is only mildly uncomfortable. However, given its aggressive nature, it makes it unsuitable for first-time pet owners. There is currently one specimen of the spider at the London National
You couldn't be a pet owner for it. And yeah, if you see these, you'll see them advertised, Hercules baboon spiders. You see them advertised in the pet trade, but they're not actually Hercules baboon spiders because they are exceedingly rare. And my second video essay that I tried to do on when I first started the channel was on the Hercules baboon spider. It was really short though. It was only like 5 minutes.
National History Museum. It's hard to believe that so many spider species exist, and that so many are also on the brink of not existing. Can you think of any others that are rare? Have you seen any of them in person for yourself? Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time.
It's nice to have one of these channels where they didn't tell me they were gonna have a centipede crawl on my face, because why? Anyhow, that was a little bit of a sci-fails, and most of the sci-fails was around that blue tarantula segment, which I had a meltdown about that I'm probably gonna clip. I was not prepared for that. So yeah, we're not over yet, but if you're watching this, if you're watching this on a premiere or whatever, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you later. Please remember to be kind and take care. my life from the Hive audience. Don't go anywhere. We're still got more show to come. Got 2 more segments for you. So, yeah, stick around and we will see you over there. All right, hello, and welcome to a little bit of strange science we got going on here. Actually, no, this is, I'm going to call this eco news because this is great eco news. Let's jump right into it because I'm excited to tell you guys about bioluminescent fairy lanterns back from the dead after being presumed extinct for 30 years. These rare plants light up on the forest floor with bioluminescence. A plant believed to be extinct for 30 years has been found in Japan. The fairy lantern is an otherworldly species of bioluminescent plant that doesn't need the sun to make energy. Instead, it parasitizes other underground organisms, meaning its survival is highly dependent on the health of its environment. Okay. The rediscovered species of fairy lantern is Thismia cobensis, which was first discovered in Kobe City, Hyogo Prefecture, Japan, back in 1992. It was thought to have gone extinct after an industrial complex was built in its native range, but has now been found in Sanda City, Hyogo Prefecture, making it the northernmost Thismia species known to science. Thismia, fairy lanterns, fairy lanterns are characterized by their lack of photosynthesis and are generally considered rare. Most of the plants remain underground, but their colorful flowers rise above the soil in a similar way to mushrooms. Not only are they hard to spot, barely rising above the forest floor, but it's thought their specificity for low quality soil and obtaining energy through fungi means they can only glow in highly localized ranges. It was with great surprise then that T. cobensis was found after 3 decades, 30 kilometers or 18.6 miles away from its assumed range. Its rediscovery also provided the opportunity to update what we know about T. cobensis, which had previously only been described from an incomplete museum specimen. They were able to establish that it can be distinguished from the similar species T. hungi by its short and wide ring, as well as the many short hairs on its stigma. Furthermore, it's as the northernmost species of fairy lantern discovered to date, it has revealed insights into the biogeography and evolutionary history of these curious plants. Not only do they look peculiar, but they light up the forest floor with their bioluminescence. Fairy lanterns are particularly crafty when it comes to nutrient exchange. It's thought that they evolved from plants that existed in a symbiotic relationship with mycorrhizal fungi, benefiting from the nutrient network while exchanging energy they got from sunlight. Fairy lanterns don't hold up their end of the bargain, however, and are parasites that feed off the network without giving anything in return. This approach to getting food is known as mycoheterotrophy, and it means that in a very roundabout way, fairy lanterns get their energy from the photosynthesizing plants that are trading with the mycorrhizal network. The mycoheterotrophs, as a whole, don't look a lot like plants. They don't have leaves and spend most of their lives underground, only flowering for a short period of time. That with the creation that looks more like little alien plants, their cryptic nature might make them hard to find, but you've been rumbled. What? You've been rumbled. Thismia cobensis. The study is published in Phytotaxa. Let's see if there's some cool pictures of them in here, because there was just this one photo. Just this. I wanted to see them glowing. There's a different picture at least. Let's see. It's the abstract. I don't think it's going to let us open it. Maybe. Can we open the PDF? I have to download it. That's okay. I like PDFs of interesting nature facts. Let's open it. Okay, here we go. Some pictures of the plant. And I mean, this article is just basically saying what we just read, but these are new too because, well, this is the related species. This is fungi. It's a different one. This is cobensis. I guess it's demonstrating the differences between the two. They're called fairy lanterns, though. I was hoping they'd show some photos of their bioluminescent features, but got a family tree. Yeah, nope. No glowing pictures. Let's see. We got any pictures of them actually doing the fairy lantern thing? Glowing? Glowing, glowing, glowing. Keep those lanterns glowing. I'd read somewhere that no plants photosynthesize, but I guess that's wrong. Because we have fairy lanterns. Are you going to show me a video of it glowing?
After more than 30 years, one of the strangest and rarest plant species has been rediscovered. The mysterious plant, Thismia cobensis, was rediscovered growing a few inches from a forest floor in Japan. Scientists in Japan have rediscovered an extremely rare species of parasitic fairy lantern that was presumed to be extinct. The mysterious plant, Thismia cobensis,
I was hoping it would have videos of it glowing. Gotta make this bigger. There we go. I don't think it's going to glow, but at least we're going to see one in nature. They are really cool looking. Tiny. Is there any audio to this? I didn't see any. That's super cool. Alright, oh, there was whole sounds though. So beautiful. So weird. All right. That was cool. That. All right. So that was some pretty cool eco news. I love when they find a species come back from a alleged extinction. Always makes me smile. Stick around because we got one more segment. We got Bree's Bestiary coming up after this quick 8-bit break. Hello and welcome to Bree's Bestiary, where I look at some legends and folklore surrounding animals. And today we have a buggy treat for you coming up because we are going to be answering an age-old question in the animal ecology community. So, here it is. Finally, we are going to find out, would a cockroach really survive the nuclear apocalypse? Cockroaches have a reputation for resilience, even when it comes to surviving nuclear bombs and radiation. But would they really outlive us all? In the 2008 film WALL-E, depicted Earth as a post-apocalyptic wasteland with nothing on it but the abandoned remnants of human society, a forlorn trash compacting robot. The Tyler robot only living companion is a surprisingly adorable pet cockroach named Hal. Pixar nods the popular myth that cockroaches will outlive us all. Despite Hal's sympathetic portrayal, many people think cockroaches are pretty gross. Exposed to radiation, cockroaches still fare worse than the humble fruit fly. But the creepy crawlies do have a reputation for resilience, likely contributing to the belief that they could even survive a nuclear bomb and subsequent radiation exposure. Media reports have suggested that the cockroach myth stems from rumors that of the insects thriving in the aftermath of the atomic bomb of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But School of Pollution and Global Health professor Tilman Ruff, a Nobel laureate who studied the health and environmental consequences of nuclear explosions, says he has yet to see any documented evidence that there were cockroaches scuttling through the rubble. I've certainly seen photographs of injured people in Hiroshima that have lots of flies around, and you do imagine some insects would have survived, Professor Ruff says, but they still would have been affected, even if they appear more resilient than humans. U.S. TV series Mythbusters tested the cockroach survival theory in 2012 when they exposed cockroaches to radioactive material. The cockroaches survived longer than humans would have, but they all died at extreme levels of radiation. The School of Bioscience professor Mark Elger says the results of the Mythbuster test are incomplete because they only look at how many days the cockroaches lived after exposure. They didn't look at the cockroach's ability to produce viable eggs, thus ensuring the continued survival of the species. There is some evidence that they seem quite resilient to gamma rays, although they are not necessarily the most resilient across insects. You could argue, Professor Elger adds, that some ants, particularly those that dig nests deep in the ground, would be more likely to survive an apocalypse than cockroaches. Previous tests of insects subjected to radiation found that cockroaches, though 6 to 15 times more resilient than humans, would still fare worse than the humble fruit fly. Professor Elgar says the feral American and German species of cockroach the ones you might recognize from your kitchen nooks and crannies, have given the rest of the species a bad rap. I think our view of cockroaches is informed by our frequent interaction with the American and German cockroaches, which have spread through the world. Professor Elgar says their habit of basically acting like unpaid house cleaners horrified people. There are more than 4,000 species of cockroach, however, including native Australian cockroaches marked with iridescent colors and patterns. I got some glow spot cockroaches in here too. The glow spot cockroaches literally glow. For example, has got a lovely yellow pattern and plates of bright blue legs with little black spots. Cockroaches breed quickly, lay large numbers of eggs, and are harder to kill with chemicals than other household insects. All traits that could contribute to the popular belief that they can withstand anything, even a nuclear bomb. That's a Mardi Gras cockroach, a species of bush cockroach found in Australia with pretty patterns on it. They are quite well defended. If you try to squish a cockroach, it usually gives off an unpleasant smell and acts pretty effective deterrent for anything attempting to capture them, Professor Elgar says. They're flat, so they can escape into places you can't access easily. Cockroaches feed off detritus of other living organisms. However, so Professor Elgar's question whether they would be able to thrive without humans and other animals. For a while, they'll be able to eat dead bodies and other decaying material, but if everything else has died, eventually there won't be any food, and they're not going to make much of a living, Professor Elgar says. The reality is that very little, if anything, will survive a major nuclear catastrophe. So, in the longer terms, it doesn't matter really whether you're a cockroach or not. Nuclear explosions affect living things in a range of ways, from the impact of the initial blast to the ionizing radiation released into the air. All organisms are affected by ionizing radiation because it permanently damages DNA, the complex molecule chains that determine who we are and what we're passing on to others. It knocks the electrons off atoms and changes the chemistry of things, says Professor Ruff. Low and prolonged doses of ionizing radiation can lead to diseases like cancer and increase the risk of a range of chronic conditions, particularly cardiovascular disease. High doses can kill cells. Even if an organism is less susceptible to radiation, it is part of an ecosystem that has been damaged. Nuclear explosions are also especially damaging because radioactive substances can accumulate and recycle through the environment in freshwater systems, the ocean, and the earth. They also concentrate up the food chain, so animals at the top of the food chain may contain levels of radioisotopes thousands of times higher than their environment. So even if an organism is less susceptible initially, it's still part of an ecosystem that has been damaged. The evidence from a disaster like Chernobyl is that every organism, from insects to soil bacteria and fungi to birds to mammals, would experience effects in proportions to the degree of contamination, Professor Ruff says. There's less biological abundance, less species diversity, higher rates of genetic mutation, more tumors, more malformations, more cataracts in their eyes, shorter lifespans, and reduced fertility in every biological system. In the past, scientists theorized that the more complex an organism, the more likely they were to be affected by nuclear radiations. So humans would be far worse than insects, would do better. But Professor Ruff says that focusing on a single species misses the complexity of the biological environment and how we relate to one another, as well as interactions between multiple stresses at the same time. There's all sorts of factors that we have to look at. So there are environmental factors, there are chronic exposures, effects across generations, and food shortages, for example. He says the magnitude of effects of nuclear explosions is far greater than what you might see in carefully controlled experiments, in laboratory conditions. So everything you points to the conclusion that no, cockroaches ultimately wouldn't survive a nuclear apocalypse. So I do want to say, because they talk about charismatic cockroaches here, can I pull that up? I wonder, because it was entomology. Okay, and then I can look at my contributions. Where's my cockroach post? Oh, that's not entomology, that's entomology. I want entomology. Easy to mix up the two. Entomology is a fun Facebook group that Bree's part of. And I do contribute too, so I don't know. Here we go. Yeah, we're going to go through this. This is probably the most popular post I've ever posted on here, so let's go and have a look. Okay, so we are going to look at some pretty cockroaches. Look at these beautiful animals. Yeah. Is it going to let me cycle through them? It shows the cycle button, but look at this. There's some of the spotted cockroaches, the domino ones. I like these. They're emerald. Let's see, Pseudoglomerus magnifica. And then these are Pisciferous species. And Panchlora species by Arthur Acker. Eushelfordia pica. And I think we go on more in the... I thought I shared more than that. Let's see. There's a bunch that I shared. Yeah, there's a pretty one. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? A ladybird one. This person's coming here sharing some beautiful roaches. Look at all these. There's a juggalo roach. There's some blue edging. Yep. This one's a Jawa. Really cool. Anyway, yeah, so, but as cool as they are, they're not surviving a nuclear fallout. It's just not happening. It's not happening for any animal, unfortunately. So we need not drop nuclear bombs. We need to think about other organisms on our planet, and we need to remember to be kind, take care, and we'll see you next time. All right, live from the Hive audience, thank you so much for sticking around. This was kind of a shorter episode, but I'm not really feeling it this morning. I'm kind of tired and sore. I don't know why. Oh, I feel like I got hit by a truck. Anyway, Like I said before, there, be kind, take care, and we will see you next time.